This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers.
Hello, good evening. Can you not just keep a straight face for a second? Right, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. It's 7:00 on Friday night. Friday the 13th, actually, I've just realised that. So look, tonight we're going to be talking all things National Running Show, satellite groups, and also touching on how much sleep do we need as runners. Firstly, I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors at Skechers. Thank you as always for looking after us. And also, there is still a 10% off code at Start Fitness with the code FORDY runs. If anyone's watching live, look at you lot. Sorry,
I'm being very sensible, but I might have pressed the wrong button at the beginning.
Oh my god,
That's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. It's all right. So, Admin, you better explain to the viewers. I can't talk. I need my asthma pump. Talk to him.
It's disturbing.
Oh,
These lot are just. We're the second week of Jan and we're already falling apart, right? So I think we've just peaked too soon, really. Anyway,
I think that was brilliant. So
we're gonna
tell him.
Just before we came on, as it goes silent for everyone that doesn't know. So on our end, it goes kind of silent for a few seconds, and then we get 3, 2, 1. And it goes into the intro. So as it goes 3, 2, 1, these pictures of Hayden just appear, which I believe is his first picture from Facebook about 15 years ago. So that's what they're laughing at. We've just been.
I've had that planned. I messaged Tobe earlier. I saw it come up, and I messaged. I was straight on Canva. I messaged Tobe. I said, Tobe, is he on tonight? And then I said, stick it up. So do you remember? This is the largest independent running podcast in the world now, right? So that picture, Hayden, has gone global now. That could go viral, isn't it?
Oh, was it actually shown live? I thought it was just between us.
No, bruv. That went out. I told Tobe to hold that for 10 seconds at the front of the video. So if you're listening to this at the podcast, you've got to get on the YouTube channel. Even if you watch the first 20 seconds and you'll see the picture of Hayden. It's brilliant. We'll put it up at the end. So stick around.
It'll come back again, guys, right? You'll see it in various places and various locations. Just quickly, though, before we get into things, if you are on Facebook, there is a link. If you can click on that, it gives us permission to see your name as you are commenting, which really helps when we show stuff and talk to you. Also, you will notice that Wilco is missing this evening. So he has started his birthday celebrations, which are next week. So happy birthday to Wilco. And if anyone's in Hartford on Tuesday night, he's promised to buy everyone fish and chips after our satellite group.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Everybody come to Hartford.
Down.
Everybody, all like 11,000 just in the one Facebook group, all come to Hartford because Wilco said he's buying everybody fish and chips.
Yeah. He said, in fact, he said you can have whatever you want from the chipping. So you can go large, you can have double meals. Hayden, your Surrey lot love a fish and chip run. You might as well get them all down.
Yeah, great call.
Basically, everyone, Hartham, Tuesday night, Wilco's buying everyone dinner.
100%.
A couple of other shout outs as well. Happy birthday to Gemma Pedler, who co-hosts the women's show. So it's her birthday today and she will be celebrating in Yarmouth this weekend. So happy birthday, Gem. And also, we've had loads and loads of emails and messages this week, which is really lovely, and we love reading them. But a couple that I just wanted to give a shout out to. So Chris Hedges got in touch via Instagram, I think, and he's been listening to us whilst he's out walking his dog. So hi, Chris. And then we had a really lovely email from Jason and Brenda Hill, who are actually in Ireland, and they've just started listening to us, and they sent us a really, really lovely note. And they were asking if we're heading out to Ireland anytime soon, or if we've done any Irish races. So probably when we talk about parkrun a bit in a second, they'll realise that the guys have been over to Dublin, but we will be back again soon. And they are coming to the National Running Show actually next weekend. So do come over and say hi. We will be around all weekend. And then the last one quickly is that we had an email from Owen Thatcher, who was asking around headphones. So I just want to cover that off really quickly at the beginning before we get into everything else. He's had some issues with his Dr. Dre kind of wireless headphones, and he said they've been ruined by sweating in them when he's running. And he said, have we got a recommendation for the best headphones when running? I think it's a pretty easy one, but
yeah, give it to him. I know what you're going to say.
Go on, Chris.
Well, they're not called Aftershocks anymore, but Shocks.
Yeah.
I think they're standalone. Reason we recommend them, because England Athletics recommend them as well, because they're bone conduction. So your ears, is nothing within your ear. So you can still, I wouldn't say you can hear like properly, but you can hear what's going on around you. They're just that little bit safer when you're running along. So we recommend, like in England Athletics, the bone conduction ones from Shocks. There's loads of other ones out there, because they keep trying to send them to me. Every time I get an email saying, can you review these headphones? I go back and put the price up. So like at the moment, I think it's about 150 grand for me to review another pair of earphones, because I absolutely got no interest. So someday some idiot's going to pay that. It's going to be brilliant. And then we're all off to Hayden's place, which is going to be great. Hayden, did you see I tagged you on Instagram today? Did you see the comment I made?
No, do you know what? I'm still a little bit
That's
dazed, a bit confused. I still don't even know what happened at the start of this show. I'm not concentrating properly.
Oh no! Wait till you go on Instagram.
Oh, cheers! Can't wait for that one.
Stitch you up on there as well, bruv. It's good for you. It's because I'm seeing you tomorrow. I thought I'd stitch you right up.
It's because you weren't here last week. They were stitching you up then as well.
Yeah, we did stitch him up last week as well. That's good.
Yeah, I listened in. I heard. Yeah, that's what it's about. Got to take it on the chin. Why
not?
I obviously thought at the start of that show, I thought, because I'm on the laptop, I thought maybe I'm logged into my Facebook or something and I've done something wrong. So the show started and these pictures come up and I was like, shit, what have I done wrong? What's going on here? Then I realised when I saw you clown laughing away there.
I've got a serious question for Hayden and Al.
Oh no, you are having a laugh.
No, it is genuinely a serious question. Funny enough, I'm not taking the mickey now. So listen, Al and Hayden, because you're a lot older than me, what are the good for age categories at the moment? Because I was talking to a client of mine today and we was chatting about it. What are genuinely the good for age? Al, do you know them?
Well, believe it or not, they vary depending on your age.
Yeah. So what? So let's say over 50, like Hayden's over 70. So over 50s. What is it, Al?
I think my BQ's about 4 hours 20. I think London's even a little bit tighter than that.
What?
Sorry, 3 hours 20. Hayden's nodding. Yeah, it's not 4 hours 20. I'd be in 3 hours 20.
You'd be in 3 hours 20.
Yeah, something like that for 55 plus.
Okay. Hayden,
it actually depends on the races as well. And funnily enough, the weird thing is Boston is actually a slower qualifying time than London and New York. So Chicago and Boston are the two slower ones. For my age category, I'm 45 to 50, even though you wouldn't believe it. Yeah. But it's 320 for Boston, 320 for Chicago. Then it goes down to 310 for London, 310 New York, and 310 Tokyo.
Okay. No, it's just funny. I was talking to a client today, and we were just chatting about stuff. You'll know who he is when we were talking about this. And I said I'd ask the two OAPs on the podcast tonight who what it was. Sorry, I couldn't have it. Yeah, it is what it is.
I've just come back from the States, and 55 plus is seen as a marker. You get discounts in restaurants and everywhere at 55 plus. So I ate 20% cheaper than everyone else, so don't knock it.
Did I give you a straw with your food?
Yeah. It's worth it. 20% of the current exchange rate. Take it.
Yeah, all day long. Sorry, admin. Go on. I'll take this right off course.
It's fine. You've made me lose my train.
She's lost it.
Can I just say, I'm more excited that we can get away with saying whatever we want to say because Wilco's not here. So
this is a good point.
Worried about us all, if I'm honest.
He won't. Yeah, I could say anything, and he won't tell me off because he's worried about the lawyers.
No, so there's.
I could go to. No, actually, I bet.
Well, there is one we might go a bit two-footed in. Let's see if we get to that.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's see if we get time for that one.
Anyway, right. Let's talk about this weekend before we move on. Hayden, what's going on tomorrow?
We have the FORDY Runs running community is actually fair enough. Is Al that come up with idea of within his satellite club, we've been doing these extreme park runs. So already we've been out to Dublin for the day. Going back to the email we talked about, it was River Valley Park Run, where we flew out there, done the park run, and flew back in the same day. We had a Wales one with the whole community back in August, where we went over to the Severn Bridge, run the Severn Bridge Park Run, and spent the day down in Barry Island. So we're just thinking of different ideas. And this time we come up with the idea of trying to do the hardest park run. So for people that don't know, the park runs are almost like, they're on a scale. It's not like a really well-known thing, but they grade all of them from like the easiest to the hardest. And I think Al will correct me. I think the easiest being the flattest is it Victoria?
Victoria Dock, yeah.
Victoria Dock, because it's pretty flat and you get a good time there. Whereas the slowest park run in the UK, so i.e. the hardest, is Great Yarmouth. And the reason for that is it's all run on the beach, on the sand. So we've all decided that's a challenge that we want to take up. And we all wanted the really bad weather that's coming tomorrow. Can't wait for that. We're all looking forward to that, just to put the foot in and boot in, make it even harder. So about 80 or 90 of us tomorrow are heading our way up to Great Yarmouth to take on the hardest park run in the hardest month. And let's just hope for the best.
All right. Well, look, there are people already commenting saying they're on their way. So Lauren Ward's on her way, and there was some others as well. So safe travels for you guys that are heading up today, and for people that are heading up tomorrow morning as well. So that's this weekend. Next weekend, we are live on stage, and we've got our stand at the National Running Show, which is really exciting because it's FORDY Run's 5th birthday. So
celebrating. We are celebrating big time. So if you come to the stand, we're there both days, right? So don't just think because the show's, we're live on the stage in front of 37,000 people. Just put that in there, boys and girls, so you get a little bit more worried about it. But we're there actually both days. So how it works, we're the show opens, I think, at like, I might be wrong because I don't read anything, but like 9 or something like that. And then you all pile in. It's going to be really busy. They've sold over 37,000 tickets. So you could probably say 7,000 of those people won't bother. So it's going to be, jam packed. I remember one year at the show, people couldn't get down the aisles because it was that busy. It was murder. So hopefully they've realised from their previous mistakes and they've made it a little bit bigger and stuff like that, so everybody can get round. But yeah, we're on a stand. Does anyone know what our stand number is or anything? Because I ain't got a clue.
I think it's N21.
Right. The stand's there. Just come and hang out. The only reason the stand is there is for everybody to come and hang out and eat cake. That's all it's there for. We ain't selling anything because we don't sell nothing. So just come along, say hi. Wilco's going to be there signing autographs, taking selfies. That's what he wants to do, he said, for the whole weekend. So make sure you come along and get a selfie with Wilco. He's going to put them in his scrapbook. And then we are then live on stage at 3:45 on Saturday. I don't know what stage it is. It's our friends from the Running Channel who absolutely love us. We're going to go over. Why are you all smiling? They're all.
I've never heard of anyone that loves us.
So we're doing that at 3:45. There is a break before us. So if we can get on early, we will, because we've got loads to talk about, because we're going to be allegedly unboxing the marathon training block. But I tell you now, viewers, little secret between us and listeners who may be listening to this in the week. I'm guessing we'll probably go right off topic from the front and start chatting about anything. We can talk about Hayden's first profile picture on Facebook. We can talk about Wilco's bum bag. We can talk about marathons for Toby at the front of the year. We can talk about Alan smashing the life out of Disney. Whatever you want to talk about, we will talk about. We don't really care. We're sort of giving them this subject because then that gets us on the stage. And then we're just going to talk about anything. That's it. So come along to that. Ask questions. The importance of that show really is about you being there asking questions. There's going to be qualified coaches there, people, giving advice for free. So get your questions written down before you come, because we will try and help you. That's genuine. Then after that, we're going to go and do a little run, 5:15. We're sacking off. There's like this ambassador VIP stand drinks thing, all that networking to. We ain't interested in that. We're coming out with the people. We're going to be running with the people. So 5:15, double busy. Down where is it, Hayden? I don't know. It's somewhere down in the NEC. We'll post it up. We're going out for 5K, gentle jog, bring your lights. And then Sunday arrives. And basically, we're all going to be hanging out. We're just going to be in the stand. We're going to be playing extremely loud music. And I mean extremely loud music, because we want to get on everybody's nerves. One year they told us to turn it off. So we're going to be doing that. and just come along and hang out, basically. Because I appreciate on Sunday a lot of people want to get home and stuff. So just come along, hang out. If we could have sofas and beanbags, we would. But basically, we've got the smallest stand there because it costs about £3 million to have a stand there. So yeah, otherwise we'd have beanbags and stuff. So that's it, basically. I'm super excited. Have any of you guys actually been to the show before?
No.
No.
Oh, Hayden and Al.
Yeah.
Right, you two on the spot. What tips would you give anybody coming to the show, apart from to come and see us, Naj? Or we'll get an autograph of Wilco.
Leave your credit card at home. There's obviously a lot of exhibitors there, and you can get sucked into spending a lot of money. In previous years, the discounts and the deals are not as great as you'd kind of hope. You would have thought with that kind of audience, they could afford to kind of really knock out some good deals. But if you're a savvy internet shopper, you could probably, push them a little bit harder, and it will be busy. You will have to push and shove your way round at some point, I expect. Last year, I think only just came back just after COVID, and I think the numbers were down and people were a little bit reticent about getting out and about, but I don't think that'll be the case this year.
Do you get loads of freebies?
Nah.
Because that's what people want
to.
Right. So there is a tactic to freebies. You just hook onto the back of Mel
Yes,
House.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
The rest of us don't have a look in because she mops it all up. So,
she's got like this dustbin line, and she goes, "Yep, I have that. That's not
whatever
that's
she
not
drops
nailed
on the
down.
floor
That's
is
coming
kind of
back."
what's left for the rest of us.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just don't go behind Mel, go in front of Mel, because otherwise you get nothing.
That's right. So Mel will have cleared up by about 11 o'clock, and that's
100%. 100%. She's gonna destroy the place.
I would also say to people that are going, who are going to stay the night there, have a look around now and try and book yourself something to eat, a restaurant or something, because when you get up there, you've got no chance. Everywhere is fully booked. Even now, it's really tough to get somewhere. So you'll end up just eating crisps in your room. So you're best off just getting something organised now.
I know someone who eats crisps in his room before he does a marathon. And he's 50 next week.
I was going to say, he ain't turning 50 next week, is he?
Yeah, and he's invited everybody, all 11,000 people on the 40 Runs running community, to Hartford on Tuesday for fish and chips. What a nice guy.
What a bloke. What a bloke.
Top man. So, yeah, so they're the top tips. I think the only thing I would say to add to that is pick the stands you want to go to beforehand. They've got a list, so pick it, because you can get, like as I said, the aisles get real busy and you can't kind of get caught up where you are and stuff. So, and maybe bring your own food, because it's just absolutely like anything, the wrong price in there. It's like probably about 10 grand for a can of Coke. So just I think the ones that have the best deals in the past have tended to be like the hydration people and the nutrition people. They tend to have better deals on their products. So, like for example, Active Fruit or Kendall or people like that, they tend to have the best deals, like bundles and stuff that they're doing on the day. So they're the places I would probably head to. If maybe a marathon trainer or something like that, that's probably another tip on that. Right,
and if people do spot really good deals, can they just post them in the FORDY group so we all know about them and we can all
but this is really, I'm really getting really annoyed now, right? Because the all the brands, so the brands are usually like retailers. They're not the brands,
right?
So they'll collab with whether it's Intersport or something like that. So if you want to go and like the latest shoes, this is not really. They're just got all that. They tend to have the old lines. There, it's not like they don't feature too many new products. You don't tend to see a new and exciting stuff coming out or any launches being done there. It's really pony. They just, it's like Kayano 29s or Bondi 8s, and that's or On Cloud, which is like really dull, and that's about it. So I wouldn't necessarily say with your shoes. I think you're better off getting them online, to be honest with you. And because a lot of the stuff I've been to, when I've seen it there, it's not very good, and it's usually the same price as well. So again, go online. Yeah, try them on, but just go online, people. There's more value to be had, because it literally is just the retailers, and they don't tend to bring too many of the new models, if any, of the new models along. So just watch for that as well. So that's another tip if you're getting shoes there.
Cool. Well, we'll see everyone there. And also, just to note, we have pre-recorded Friday night show. So there will be a show going out on Friday night.
Which one's that?
That's the one that we did last week.
Is that the one? Was Hayden on that one?
No.
Oh, that's brilliant, that show.
Right, we need to move on before it sets us all off again. And when everyone listens to it, they'll know why. But right. We are at the start of a new year. We obviously see loads of people. If you've been to Parkrun over the last couple of weeks, I mean, the influx of people and the hundreds of people that have now kind of picked up running or walking is phenomenal. But we've also seen it with our satellite groups growing over the last kind of few weeks and even pre-Christmas. But I think it's amazing to see so many people out and about over the last few weeks, like the photos that come in, the new people, people joining the Facebook community because of it as well is pretty phenomenal. And how many groups have we got now kind of around?
I think, off the top of my head, we're up to about 14, 15. That's someone's got to tell me.
Yeah, it's about that.
So.
Yeah, ain't too far anymore.
But the virtual one as well launched this week, didn't it?
Mental, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had the idea. Obviously, the idea of the satellite.
Hang on. Whose idea was it?
This was Chris's idea, so he started sending me all these emails. I'm not joking, but this is the honest truth now. This is no mucking about. In the last week, I have received close to probably 2,000 to 2,500 emails from Chris Ford, exactly the same stuff. Honestly, I'm changing my email address. That is absolute guarantee. By the end of this weekend, I've had enough of them. I just dream of emails. Every time I open up my inbox, it's Chris Ford. And it's all to do with this virtual thing. Honestly, this thing has just taken off so much. Yeah, the idea being that these satellite groups, we'd like to cover the whole entire country, but obviously it's difficult to get the logistics in place. So we figured the people that are in these remote locations where there is no satellite club, thought we'd do a virtual one. So we all go out at the same time. And initially it was to do the same run, but then Chris came up with the idea of giving people an option of a few different runs. So each week in this virtual club, Chris has set out 4 different runs, depending on what you're trying to achieve in your plan, where you are and you're running. And so on a Wednesday night at 7:00, we all go out, do the run, come back, and then post a picture onto a group of us doing the run. And so originally we was thinking there's going to be 20, 30 of us, but this group has just got massive. There's literally 150 odd people in this group just talking nonstop. And these are people never ever met before. These are people all over the world. We've got people in the group from Australia, Dubai, the Philippines, someone in there from Texas. There's someone in there from, I think it was Fiji, New Zealand. These are all over the world. These people just come together and all just chatting. Honestly, it's like they've known each other for ages. It's absolutely brilliant. They just brought another dimension to this satellite group so we can get to that point where all of us, well, we don't ever feel like we're running alone. We've got company. It's great. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it really is. And I've got to give him a bit of love because, bless him, I did blow up his inbox. But I did keep reminding him that it was his idea. But no, the idea was, as I said, is even if you're part of another satellite group or even a part of another club, because at 40 Runs, we're not like these other clubs where you've got to be, member of the committee to go for the London Marathon place. All this stuff. We couldn't give a monkeys about all those old people in these traditional clubs. You can be part of this virtual club. Yeah, you can be a solo runner. You can be active on a Wednesday at 7:00, knowing that other runners are going to be out, taking inspiration from that, and knowing that people are doing it with you and getting back and posting your picture. And eventually, we want to get the Zoom link sorted so everybody then can have a chat afterwards. It's very hard to get 150 people on a Zoom call. We found out this week, but we want to try and bring people together and connect people up. And that's got to be the idea of it. And like, as I said, it's amazing because people on YouTube can get involved who follow us on YouTube. People who follow us because of the podcast can get involved. People, who just see another, 40 run like Hamilton Howe, another part run can then maybe get involved because they're from another part of the country that doesn't necessarily have a satellite group yet. They can still get involved. And again, we tried to spruce it up by giving some options. So then you can do 4 different runs and then you can try and challenge yourself to improve on those runs, because that's the idea of having the options there. It's not just, we're going to go out and do, 5K, but it's more the fact of, there's something there to give you that element of trying to improve yourself. And yeah, it's just, again, like Hayden said, brilliant. It's just trying to bring the community together, but bring other people into the community who may feel like, I can't be part of this club because I don't live in Hertford, or I can't be part of this club because of this. Every person should be a basic member of 40 Runs because it's free, right? And then you should feel like you belong anyway, but you can even feel like even more like, you know what I mean, involved. And then if you want to take the affiliated running, which I think, if you're not got a club and you can afford it, because it's £18, which I appreciate it's a lot of money in the current circumstances, but I think get that, because you gives the options of getting the discounts and the other benefits that works out for England athletics. But I appreciate that it's not for everyone, and like everything with 40 runs, we want to make it as inclusive as possible. So by giving this option, along with everything else that we've done, from a virtual club to now bringing satellite groups locally, so communities within communities, it's so powerful. And it's just amazing. I've got to give a shout out to all the satellite leaders who are out there, bringing people together, changing people's lives. You might think, it's a strong statement, but it's not. Some people might be lonely at home on their own, but they're able to go out one day a week and meet some people and run with them. That's so powerful. It really, really is. So big love to the satellite group leaders, because it's hard work geeing people up to get them along to run this week. Sometimes you've got to chase them up because maybe you're worried about them not coming along and that kind of thing. You don't know what's going on in their lives. And they do an incredible job. Incredible. So big love to you guys for what you do. Right. Questions.
Hold on 1 second on that, though. Just a virtual club before. I've got a question which people might be wondering is,
have you put it in the chat?
You're a nightmare today. If people can't run at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, because that is part of the challenge as well, right? Lives are busy. People have got families, work shifts, prefer to run in the morning, etc. Can they still get involved and do the run at a different time, or do you have to be ready and available at 7 o'clock?
You want me to take it, Hayden, or you can do it?
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
The idea of that satellite group, the virtual one we're talking about, is to get people out at 7 o'clock, because it's like you turning up to, your local satellite group and running at the same time as everybody else. In an ideal world, we would want every single person to go out at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a different part of the world, you go out at 7 o'clock where you are. Okay. So 7 o'clock is like a bell ringing. Bing, bing, bing. Off you go. Starters orders. Okay. But I do appreciate that life is life and it does get in the way. And occasionally you might not be able to make that. It's not the end of the world. Get out there and run. As long as you're running, as long as you're healthy, as long as you're happy, that's okay. But ideally, we want you all running at the same time to be part of that movement, that wave. Yeah. And that's the ideal scenario. Answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, so when on the chat group's quite active and people are talking and you're getting to almost know each other by, even if they've never seen the person, but you recognise the same names. And my idea in my head was that if I go out and I'm running by myself at 7 o'clock and I'm thinking to myself, that lady in the group, admin, I wonder where she's running tonight. I wonder what she's doing. You're almost like thinking, I wonder, there's Mark there. Oh, there was an Alan there. I wonder if he's going a bit faster. I wonder what session he's doing. How idea is it? Obviously, you feel like you are together. But as Chris said, same as anything with 40 runs, we don't have no hard rules. We're not strict. If you want to be part of the virtual group and you can't do that run every week at 7 o'clock and every now and again you want to do one a bit earlier, but you want to post your picture at 8 o'clock, so what? So be it. Get involved. Be part of it. It's just about bringing runners together.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Go on.
No, I just want to check on Toby because he's not actually said one word. He's got his sketches out on, which looks rather large on his. He's got a big head anyway, right? But his hat does look over. Hayden, Alan, do you think Toby's hat looks oversized?
Yeah.
Doesn't help on the podcast, does it? What do you think, Al?
It could do with probably coming down a size, I reckon.
Yeah, could do. He looks like, like if you've got like kids and you give them one of your adult baseball caps or something to wear. It looks like admin's given Tobe a baseball cap and said, wear that to keep the sun off your head. That's what he looks like. Tobe, how's your marathon training going?
Well, it went all right last week, not so this week.
What's your mileage this week out of interest?
About 5.
Okay, that's going well. And which marathon again was you training for?
Manchester.
And when's that?
April.
So not in March?
No.
Okay.
No, Hayden's out in March. Not me. You're getting us confused.
Sorry. Carry on, admin.
Toby, what are you eating, by the way?
What now?
Yeah. What snacks have you got? Sure.
I haven't. No,
Don't tell lies.
It's January, isn't it?
And Hayden, are you in your own house?
I'm at my house tonight, yeah. Yeah, right. I'm at my house tonight. I've got to have an early night because tomorrow,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
forgot to
true.
say about that. With this great Yarmouth trip tomorrow, some of us are getting picked up by coaches in different areas. And my pickup is the first one. So we need to be at the coach pickup at 4 a.m. So
What seat are you going to take?
You see 1A?
It's got to be 1A. 1A's got the microphone. So
Oh,
me and
you
Al
know what picture I should have shown this week? Hayden, you know that's coming out. I've got the best picture of Hayden. If you've not seen it on Instagram, it's the best picture of Hayden ever. Him asleep on the bus. That's coming out again, 100%. What I was going to say, admin, because it's really important. We were talking about this the other day. It's a really serious question. I just had a Domino's pizza. I was going to give it only about 3 out of 10. The reason I mention this is because if they want to sponsor the pod, how do they do that? Get in touch.
Oh, yeah, good question. Good point. They need to email us at fordyruns.com/longrun.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor it, Domino's, although you need to improve the quality of your pizzas, okay? Because I'd give you probably a 3 out of 10 for tonight's, but happily to take £150,000.
You
Let's
went.
get into, go.
You know, I went McDonald's. I'd like to.
They can sponsor as well. Go on, carry. I mean, come on, we've got about 1 million questions. We've not spoke about sleep yet.
I'm going over to Alan.
Oh,
You've got to read out Jeffrey's comment. Sorry, Al. You've got to read out Jeffrey's comment, please.
Jeffrey
with 1 F.
Well, Toby won't put it up. Oh, there he is. He's done it.
It gets close.
Is anyone going to read it? I'll tell you what, I'll read it. Toby, I know you and Chris are mates, not just mates, best mates, tripod mates. That's for another day. But have you ever thought of punching Chris in the face? Yes, he has on a regular occurrence, usually on a Saturday about 8. No, not 8 o'clock. It's usually about 11 o'clock after he's listened to me for 3 hours. Can you imagine?
Takes too much effort, though. And to be honest, even if I did, I'm not sure it would shut you up.
No, it wouldn't. He ran the other day with his headphones on. Didn't work. Right. What else have we got?
We have a question.
Oh.
Paul Titenser joined us just after 7, expecting to talk about running. So he did actually ask a question. So shall we put him out of his misery? Sorry. He is training for his marathon. He's got some dedicated hill sessions in his plan by the looks of it, but I'm not quite sure where he lives, but it looks like hills are involved every time he steps outside his front door. So he's asking, is that enough? Particularly if he's targeting a 5-hour completion.
Sorry, here's a question regarding hill training. My plan includes some dedicated hill sessions. However, most of my runs involve. Yeah, I think with hill sessions, is a difference between hill sessions and you just running on hills, like part of your normal runs. What you want to, hopefully within your plan, those that you have a targeted session, whether it be, I don't know. So I've seen people do intervals up hills. I've seen people do progressive runs up hills. It all depends what session's been designed for you to do it, but they're targeted, nice, gentle warm up, get yourself sorted out, good 10-minute warm up, and then get into it, push really hard, and then obviously do your cool down, recovery, stretch, blah, blah, blah. So yes, there is a difference between just doing a run and that involves hills and a hill session. I hope, is that what he's trying to get at, guys?
I think so, yeah, and I'd agree. It's got to be a hill session with a purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, your session's got not just. It's great that you've got elevation where you're running because that will improve you. Because when you go to, doesn't say which marathon he's doing, but let's say he was then rocking it up at London, which is reasonably flat, I would say. Apart from he's pretty flat actually, but got that few ups and downs at the start, but basically it's flat. You're going to go to somewhere where it is flat ground. You're going to feel the benefit of training, day to day on sort of elevated course training runs. Right, next.
That's it. That was the question.
Oh no, I've seen a queue. Hang on, right. So, Al, come on, get with it. I know you got jet lag. Admin, does your J job involve much admin? Yes, it does, because I usually WhatsApp her at 5 o'clock in the morning with a list of stuff to do. So yes, 100% admin's job is admin. There was something for Alan. We need to get Alan talking because it's the first time someone's seen your connections are stable. There you go, Al.
Well, obviously wasn't on before Christmas because I think I hit the height just before Christmas with a stable connection.
Smashed it. I love this comment. Forget parkrun tourism. I'm thinking satellite tourism. that's a good. Hoping we could start a separate group to do it on a Tuesday.
I'm scared. I'm scared to give any more ideas.
Yeah, because then we could get emails in for that as well. Brilliant. More emails. Just keep sending emails in address to Hayden. I'll forward them on. No worries about that. Yeah. Right. Okay.
David said it's first time watching us live. He's listened to quite a few and he's enjoying it. So thank you, Andrew. And on that note, we should probably actually talk about something running related and add some value this evening because we're 35 minutes in and I think we've been pretty.
I'm going to have some Lucasade. You talk about the running.
I've got a picture that adds value if you want.
Yeah, we'll see the picture. Which one?
Yeah, let's put a picture up that adds value.
No, please.
No. Yeah, look at it.
No.
Look at it. Look at his little face.
Hayden, where was that taken? Does he?
I think it was. I don't know. I'm thinking it was in Mallorca. What is the obsession with his picture?
I'll tell you the best thing. I'm going to let all this. So if you're on the podcast, we just put the picture up again of Hayden. I'll tell you the best thing about that. Listen to this, guys. He's actually 42 in that picture. Right, come on.
But anyway, what we're meant to be talking about tonight is how much sleep do we actually need as runners? So Chris has been wearing his watch to start monitoring this over the last week or tracking it. And I mean, I don't do it, but go on, Chris. Give us an overview of what you've been doing and how it's been working. What's it told you so far?
So listen to this, people, right? Listen up. Firstly, bit of a spoiler alert, right? This may, again, I know you think they're amazing, right? But we aren't specialists in sleep, okay? We're not doctors. We're not, whatever it is, sleep doctors. We've got absolutely no idea what we're talking about, okay? So we're just looking at this running coach hats on, right? But sleep is, I'm looking at you here to go into detail, but sleep is, in that deep state, is basically where you do your most recovery, okay? I actually wrote something down. I'm going to read this to you because there's no way I know how to remember this. Hold tight, because I looked this up because I wanted to say, actually, have I deleted it? Oh, no. Right, so here we go. During deep sleep, human growth hormone is released, which helps repair muscles after a hard workout or a long run. Inversely, sleeping fewer than 6 hours regularly can lead to increased cortisol levels. Oh, you'll have to tell me what that is, which breaks down tissues and impacts the body's ability to secrete HGH, i.e. the hormone. So that's basically telling you that to recover fully or best you can, you need that deep sleep. Now, this marathon training block, I really wanted to work on, now this might seem nuts, but my recovery, okay? Because I feel like with most of you guys out there, you're probably like me, full-time job, probably a family, stresses of life, stresses of money, and everything else that goes, around everything. And we've got our running as our pastime. Now, we've got our goal of doing Great North Run, Manchester, I don't know, Park Run really fast, whatever, right? Now, as part of that training, I feel like over the years, I've neglected the recovery element of it. And I do believe that has affected my performance. I'll give you an example, because when I look back at Edinburgh, right, and we cocked about and we got up at 5 o'clock, was it 5 o'clock? It might have been 4:45 to make sure I beat Toby in a race to Edinburgh, because that was the most important thing. That ruined me for the next day because I only had like 4 hours of sleep. I'm not a very good sleeper when I know I've got a race beforehand. Now, that's not what I'm talking about in terms of sleep. But it did make me think when I look back at my Edinburgh marathon training, how well did I do in terms of recovering? I don't think I did that well. So I looked through it, I researched it. Like I said, I've got that, just that little tidbit there in terms of sleep. So what I've tried to do at the start of this blog is try and focus a little bit more on getting some better sleep to aid that recovery. I'm doing and will be starting doing more double running because I'm running in the day, then I'm doing coach sessions in the evening. So that's going to fatigue my body. I've obviously got long runs as well to do, and I've got the other stuff. And the importance to be able to get those double sessions done well is to be recovered well. Okay, so it all goes hand in hand. I'm not, we're going to put hydration and nutrition to one side at the moment. I'm talking about recovery. So as part of that, long story short, I'm trying to get there, admin, bear with me before we fall asleep, is I've been sleeping in my watch. Now, I've got issues outside of that, which is why I ended up in A&E over Christmas, but that's a separate issue. So I've been tracking my sleep for two reasons. There's that, but there's also the recovery part to see how much sleep I'm actually getting and to try and improve it. Because I have read, again, I don't know this, I've got no science backup, that we need about 10 to 12 hours if possible. Yeah, 10 to 12 hours possible to really recover from like hard exercise. Now, again, that's unrealistic for most normal people, yeah? So the point of this discussion is that I've started tracking it because, and I think it's worthwhile you sitting back and thinking to yourself, right, how much actually am I sleeping? So I'm tracking it on my watch, whether it's reliable or not, I've got absolutely no idea. So I've been in the Coros, I've been in the Garmin, and I've been tracking it every day. So when I wake up, I look at what my levels of sleep are, because you get all the different things it tells you, and you've got like, so give an example, right? Like, so last night, 7 hours, 22 minutes, it said that quality was good. Whether you believe it or not, but it said to me I had hour and 44 of deep sleep, which is the most I've had this week. I had 4 hours, 5 minutes of light sleep, REM, which is like when your lights are all, your eyes are all twitching and you're fidgeting, I think. I had 1 hour, 33, and I was awake for 4 minutes, right? So I've now got data, because like anything with this, whether you're heart rate training, using one of them soppy stride things, or whatever you're doing, you need data, right? So I've been doing this for several weeks. It's actually probably coming up a little bit longer than that. So I can now monitor. So for example, when I went into hospital, sounds nuts, but I was telling the doctor my whole sleep pattern. The guy probably nearly fell asleep himself, but I actually gave him the ins and outs of my sleep, because I've been tracking it and I've been trying to improve my sleep. So I've been looking at what I'm eating before I go to sleep. So the 8 bags of crisps that I usually eat, because I can't have one, cut that out. I'm looking at what I'm drinking. So instead of having, say, like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea at 6 o'clock, I'm now having like a herbal tea instead. So I'm looking at different things that can try and improve that deep sleep. I want as much deep sleep as I can to aid my recovery. Now, does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Admin.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I guess the flip side for me, just to counter it, is, and like, data is amazing, right? What you can learn and what you know, and we're so privileged to have these watches that tell us all of these things and all of this information. But do you think you can almost look at it too much and become a bit too obsessed with it? And actually, you just need to go, do I wake up in the morning feeling recovered, refreshed, rather than worrying about what stats your watch says? In the same way, like when we say, just go out and have an easy run. And if it feels easy, good. If it feels hard, like you've really pushed yourself, it feels hard. So I'm just wondering, like, actually, do you think there's a balance? And do you think you can get a bit too hooked? Obviously, your situation's slightly different because of the health thing that you've just mentioned as well. So
yeah, I think, yes, 100% right. You can get addicted to it. You can get, and I am addicted because that's my personality, right? So I'm now hooked on it. But that's just me. But I do. My point that I'm trying to make is that, and it's funny, admin, I didn't tell you this, but I had a conversation with Ben about this as well.
yeah,
Because he was, I don't know what I should say, but he was thinking along the same sort of lines as me.
yeah,
And what I want to do is I want to put it out there.
yeah.
It's an element, it's an area of training, right, that we don't discuss. It's like we all talk about strength and conditioning. We all say, yeah, you should do this, you should do that, you should look what you're eating, you should make sure you're hydrating. But in terms of recovery, in terms of out and out performance gain from recovery, you get that in sleep.
Yeah, and we don't talk about it enough, because a lot
No.
of the time when we talk about recovery, we talk about eating well, and we talk about rest days, right?
Yeah.
Stretch days and rest days and stretching. But I'm interested. Did anyone else? So Toby, Al.
Let me come in with a little bit of the science bit. I know it might
Yeah.
send some people to sleep, and you're right, Chris, sleep is probably the element of an overall training program that never gets discussed. But it actually connects everything else, I would argue. So we set up the training plans. We think about trying to train our body to do, whatever it is, the interval runs, the fasting, the fast runs, the slow runs. It's actually sleep where your brain makes those neural connections. So you've probably heard in the past talking about muscle memory. It was a big thing in the 90s for golfers. That's kind of where those connections are made. So that's when your body is learning to do what you're asking it to do during your training sessions. You talked about cortisol, Chris. That's a stress hormone. What that does, if you are not sleeping properly and you are experiencing a lot of that cortisol stress hormone, your body won't be processing all those nutrients properly, because it's the sleep that it's the cortisol that blocks some of that goodness from being converted into the good energy that we're looking for rather than the bad fats. You know, we talk about remaining healthy during a training program and the stress we put on our body. It's that sleep that helps us develop and keep a good immune system. So if you're not sleeping properly, you will feel tired, you will fatigued, you will catch more colds, you will just feel groggier during your training program. So you can take any element of everything else we talk about, and if you're not getting the right quality and the right quantity of sleep, then you're suboptimal. You're not maximizing everything else in your training program, I'd argue. So I hope that helps a bit.
Yeah, that was the song. That's brilliant. Now that's exactly what we needed. Some proper stuff. What about you, Hayden? Apart from when you're like someone else's house and you're sort of sleeping over.
I think actually, so Mark picked up on it as well on the comments. The problem is due to modern life, talking about 8 to 10 hours sleep and stuff. In the modern day, it's really difficult. A lot of us now, whereas traditionally jobs were always used to be 9 to 5 and stuff. Now, a lot of us, I don't know about everyone here, a lot of us, I start work at 5:30, 6 in the morning. And there's no way I'm going to start going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. It almost feels like that's just a waste of your life. So getting that 8 to 10 hours sleep is difficult. I think I've got no science behind this at all, but I think you can train your body. I think if you're someone that needs 12 hours sleep and you've always had it, you'll keep having it. But I just find if you get used to like being on lesser sleep, 6 hours, 7 hours a night, I just think your body gets used to it and trained. You've also got this cardio, it's the cardiovascular as well. It's maintenance with your heart. So the longer you sleep, the more your heart starts pumping blood around your body and makes you feel better. This is why when you have hangovers, if you go out and have a real big session and you only have a couple of hours sleep, you wake up feeling rough, like really rough most of the time. If you have a 10-hour, 11-hour sleep, you wake up, your body's recovered itself already. Why it's been pumping out extra blood, and it works while you're asleep because it's not taking up any other space. If you're walking, talking, any other activity you're doing, so it focuses just on repairing you. So there's absolutely no doubt about it. It's good for you. It's just whether or not you can actually participate in doing it. And what can you do apart from going down a medicational route? If you can't sleep, you can't sleep.
Hayden, there are a few things we can do to kind of combat the worst excesses of modern life. I think Chris might have mentioned coffee. So coffee we know is a stimulant. Try and avoid that a couple of hours before your normal bedtime routine. So, you know, whenever that is, whether it's 12 o'clock midnight, 4 a.m. in the morning, or like me, 8 p.m., you know, try and cut some of the coffee out. But there's other things, chocolate, caffeine generally, and even vitamins can all stimulate your body because that's what they're designed to do. And that's what's going to affect the quality of the sleep. Phones, unfortunately, is another no-no. You know, turn that blue light off. Don't sleep with the phone next to your bed. That will improve the quality of your sleep. Even down to things like exercise. And if you exercise, you know, up to 2 hours before you'd normally go to bed, your body is in a stress state by definition. That's what you've tried to do. And it's all those things that you can adjust to just make the quality of your sleep, however much or however little you get, better quality sleep.
Super, isn't it? I mean, not being funny, but I think within those last 8 minutes, that's the most value we've added for about 100 episodes. Right, so the lady who came to Hayden's satellite, what was her name, Hayden?
Oh, yeah, I've got to give a big shout out to her, Angela.
Angela, who's now listening back to all the episodes. Angela, probably wouldn't bother, just listen to the last 8 minutes of this. That's about as good as it gets. All right. But if you're coming to the National Running Show, expect loads of value to be added like that. Won't be. But anyway, mouth breathing while sleeping negative. Oh, okay. Yeah, sleep apnea. Yeah, talking about that. Yeah, so I think, you know, it's quite interesting. It's an interesting topic that I wanted to bring up because, as I said to you, it's something that I think we neglect a little bit to talk about because we focus too much on the easy stuff, strength and conditioning, like as I said, and all those other bits. I'm not telling you to go to bed at 7 o'clock on a Friday because you need to watch this. But what I am saying to you is think about it. Ask yourself, do I feel like I've got a good night's sleep? Because it will make a difference. Like I said to you, I struggle to sleep before a race. I never sleep before a race. Tomorrow morning, the fact that we've got to go Great Yarmouth, knowing the fact I've got to get up, I won't sleep. And I struggle as well to sleep after a big race because of everything that goes on in terms of the adrenaline and stuff like that. But in general, I am trying to get better. And that's my message to you as a coach to you all. right? If I was coaching you, is to say, look at your sleep, think about it. I mean, you want to say something?
Like, so I was just going to say, I think it's a good point you make, actually. Like, think about your sleep, do what you can, but also not sleeping the night before a race, as tired as you're going to feel, right? And I don't sleep the night before a race, but it's not going to make or break your race. It's not just about getting a good night's sleep the night before a race. It's about your whole training block and it being more consistent across a longer period of time, like or all the time. In fact, it's not just about that one day or that week before the marathon or half marathon or whatever you're training for.
It's actually, we always say it's the sleep the day before, if that makes any sense. So it's always like, let's say the race is on a Sunday, traditionally are. It's the sleep you get that Friday night. It's that Saturday morning where people, they like to go park run, whatever. Actually, park run's great to do the day before, a big race. But actually, you'd be better off getting those 12 hours, waking up at 10, then having a little poodle about, but getting that like massive block of sleep. Well, actually, you'll be better off on the race day. I think, again, it's your own personal opinion. I'm not a qualified doctor. I'm nearly qualified to play for the All Blacks, but I'm not a qualified doctor. But seriously, people, just look at it and think about it. How you are recovering, and the sleep element of that. That's what I wanted to discuss. I think we've got that point across. Great points, Al. Hayden as well on that. Toby, you added no value, but I've still got hope for you to add value at the end of the show in your oversized cap that admin gave before you came on air. Right, so should we get into some of the comments and questions or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick up because I feel like I've been waiting a year and a half to answer this question from Mark with a with a funny A in the middle of his name. He says, us older people sometimes get some kip in the day. I wonder if that is good for you or not. As a general rule, I'd say it's a must. And I absolutely subscribe to it at least twice a day if I can, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. On a serious note, it depends on the quality of that sleep. If you are going off for a 3 hours nap, then chances are that's going to affect the quality of your nighttime sleep. If you can literally power nap for 10 or 15 minutes, then that's probably going to do you some good. So it's sometimes what I do is I'll set an alarm. I'll say, right, 15 minutes, off I go. And I can sleep literally anywhere. So that works for me, definitely, Mark. So don't think that it's gonna not help.
I always feel rubbish if I sleep in the day, Al.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on everyone's individual, abilities. But if you've got that power to power nap, then I'd say go for it. Yeah.
What do you think of 2 runs in a day? That's what Randy. That's basically. So you might have missed it. That's what I was when I started this topic. That's what I was talking about because my volume's going to be going up. My double runs have now started to kick in on a day. Not every day, but more times than none. That's why I've started looking at my sleep patterns to make sure, because that's quite heavy duty. To do, it's not that heavy, but to do 2 runs in a day, it's quite fatiguing. Yeah, not just physically, but also mentally. So that's why, again, I've looked at the aspect of sleep to try and help. Sorry, still dying. I'll try and help in terms of my recovery to aid that. So when I am going back out, so like Monday, double run, Tuesday, double run, Wednesday, double run, I'm able to do them and I'm able to get the best out of those sessions because I don't want junk miles. And that's what I'm trying to achieve in my marathon training blocks now. I'm not training for a time. I've got no interest in that. What I'm trying to do is look at the areas in which I can perform better within my training, because I know ultimately on race day that will help me and the times will then take care of itself. Hopefully that makes sense. So yes, do I think 2 runs in a day is good? Yeah, if it works for you. That's what I would say.
I've got a question for you, Chris. So you've been monitoring your sleep with your watch over the past, would you say 7 weeks?
Yeah, it's probably a bit more than that, yeah.
So after doing that, what have you learned and what have you changed, or what are you going to change, or was it a waste of time?
Yeah, so was it a waste of time? Probably. No, I've learned that again. So a little bit of caution on this, because I'm trying to sort something else out, right? Another health issue, okay. But what I've learned is that I'm not sleeping deep enough for too long. I don't know whether, and I'm waiting to see the doctor, whether the ADHD connects with the sleep patterns, because obviously your brain can flitter about and that can impact the deep sleep. So I don't know whether that's impacting my sleep. Again, I'm going to try and get someone who's medically qualified to talk to me about that. But what I have learned is that I'm not in a deep sleep state enough, right? Firstly, I'm not getting enough sleep. So like the other night, I had 3 hours and 54 minutes and I basically only slept for about 43 minutes of that. So I'm trying to find a way to increase my deep sleep. Now, last night I did well, like whatever I said it was, an hour and 43, because the day before I think I had 42 minutes. So I'm trying to improve the amount of deep sleep that I'm getting on a night by night basis. And again, I'm trying to change my patterns of what I'm eating and what I'm doing to try and improve it. And I think slowly but surely I'm getting there, and I'm feeling better for it in terms of some of the runs. Although today I felt like an old man, a bit like you, Hayden. But I generally, like, on what day was it? On Tuesday, I felt much more peppy. I was like ready to go. Do you know what I mean? And I felt a little bit more with it. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So that yes, I've found an improvement. Yes, I am hooked on the data, but that's just me as a human being. But I am finding it useful to try and take the data and try and improve things for me in terms of my recovery. Does that answer it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Well, look, we're at 56 minutes, which is mad, right? But we have actually added some good value today. I have just got one question quickly for everyone. It's going to be a quick fire one before we close, because I know I've gone rogue. When's
Wilco coming back? Sorry, when's Wilco coming back?
Next week, no, week after. It is Blue Monday on Monday, which is officially known as today, which is like the most depressing of a new year, because everyone's gone back to normal. People start quitting on their New Year's resolutions, their diets, and everything else, right? I know it's really depressing, but it's often when as well people give up on, or they'll go, "Oh, I've been out for a couple of runs, or I've got to walk, and this is getting hard now." So, what is really quickly your one tip? I'll start for carrying on, getting out the doors, getting out running. So mine is run with someone if you can. Get a friend, get a buddy. And try not to get out on your own, because it is dark, it is dreary, and it gets tougher.
Can I just say something? I mean, I thought you was going to say he was going to get a snood, because every time I've asked you for a tip, you say to me,
I actually was going to message it. That's a good point. I need to talk to you about that tomorrow. Anyway.
I mean, she needs a new one.
I do. Hayden.
Mine will be go on to the 40 Runs website, find yourself your nearest satellite, and if there isn't one, crack on and join the virtual one, and then you'll get out there, and that'll give you a bit of motivation.
Great. Al?
Well, Blue Monday, I think, is also the day credit cards drop. So go out and buy yourself a new pair of shoes. Motivate yourself with some new bling, new running bling.
Toby, are you going to say anything?
Well, I think I can go and book a race. Get that credit card I was on about. Go and book a race. Something to look forward to.
And are you potentially booking a race? Maybe.
Toby, you got any races coming up?
I'm not booking any races, no. I just have my 10K number through, though.
He's got quite a busy start of the year, and you say, wait, what marathon you training for?
Busy, yeah.
What marathon
Manchester?
Is it? Yeah.
You're doing Manchester. You should know when it is.
Sorry, mate. I thought you had another one. I keep getting confused.
Yeah. Manchester's like the week. Is it week 4 or after London?
Oh, Joe, I don't know. I'm only interested in what's happening in March, to be honest with you. So
I'll leave that down.
Go on, Chris. Go on. What's yours? Last one.
What was the question?
Do you know what? I give up with you today, right? We're moving on. We are at the end of the show. So thank you, everyone, for listening, for tuning in live, all your questions, all your comments. And thank you again to... Oh, go on. He's got his hand up.
Can I just say, in all seriousness, thanks to everybody for the feedback from the bite-sized show we did on Monday, right? I still can't believe that actually people tuned in to watch it, right, live. But we've got a bite-sized show on a Monday. It's really... gear trainer focused, because we get a lot of questions, a lot of emails in from you guys. We love it, about running shoes and stuff like that, naturally, because of the channel. So the Monday show is a little bit more focused on that. It's shorter. I know it's on the same time as Kafuzi, but I can't do anything about it because I can't get home any earlier, right? So it is what it is. But it's on at 7 o'clock. We just chat about running shoes, gear, what I'm running in, what I'm training in, that sort of stuff. But I just want to say thanks to everybody, because I've had some really nice emails, really nice feedback. Even in the chat tonight, there's been people saying that they enjoyed it. So thank you. I'll see you again on Monday at 7 o'clock. Sorry, admin.
No, that's all right. That was in my notes actually. So we'll go back. Thank you, Skechers, for obviously sponsoring the show. You can contact us, all your questions through the week, anything you think of, comments, etc., at fordyruns.com/long run. And obviously, as Chris said, Bite Size Monday night, 7 o'clock on YouTube. And we will see you all next weekend at the National Running Show. And just so you know, the podcast will go out Friday night. It's a pre-record. I definitely think we've peaked too early this year with that one. So 100%. Enjoy. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Tobe, roll the tile. Roll the tile.